Justin Jefferson and Davante Adams will not be traded. This coming from both organizations who have been fighting through smoke season, rumor mills, and a bunch of people reporting everything they can under the sun to try and get clicks. And some people point at me and say, Smitty, you do the same thing. I go live when news breaks and I don't confirm or deny it necessarily. Sometimes I go live to tear down a piece of news. So there's a big difference between trying to spread rumors that I'm creating and concocting myself and going live on something to tell you whether I think it's true or not. So get your facts straight, Bob, in the chat. But Smitty, you're constantly trying to... No, I'm not, Bob. No, I'm not, because we do it live. And we're doing it live right now. Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. show begins right now. File on in, a lot of news to discuss.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
JJ will not be traded. Davante Adams will not be traded. Let's talk about JJ first, and we'll put these pieces of news on screen. JJ, the word coming out of Minnesota is not something that has once crossed my mind, according to the GM himself. Other reports retweeted by Fowler and Shefty and the boys saying a lot of the stuff he has heard about Justin Jefferson's contract negotiation is completely false. So contractual-wise, trade-wise, all that stuff is being fabricated, smoke getting kicked up in the air. And, people just like to spread rumors right now. Now, we've talked about it. We've come on the show. I'm not suggesting, I don't come on here and go, where could JJ go? That's totally different. Like Bob in the comments and Keyboard Clifford in the comments, like just constantly saying, Smitty, you're the one spreading. I ain't spreading nothing, Bob. I report on the news. I translate the news. I tell you whether I think the news that's coming out is good or bad. The thing someone needs to understand about my show is if I'm getting 10,000 messages, and I'm exaggerating a little bit, hundreds of messages about one topic, clearly you guys want to know my take. And I go live on it. And a lot of times I shoot down what we're talking about. And JJ was in a lot of smoke and mirrors type rumors, and it needed to be talked about. Where could he go? What would the price be? But every time we talked about it, I said, I don't think they're trading him. They're not going to trade him. Why would they trade him? I said there's arguments where you'd say something like, okay, as an organization, if you're the Minnesota Vikings and you could get some sort of draft move up on top of swapping, and getting this 11 pick into a Marvin Harrison Jr. And if you think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be as good as Justin Jefferson, and he could be, then it's not crazy for an organization to contemplate saying, well, if we're letting Cousins go, we're restarting, we're going to have to pay the bag to Justin Jefferson, and we could get MHJ on a rookie deal, then it's something you consider if the exchange could happen, and then you get something that can significantly help you build. But at the end of the day, we came in saying this ain't going to happen, folks. It's just not going to. Now, this is something that I think, Davante Adams probably at one point wanted out of LV, no doubt about it, but he loves Antonio Pierce. He said he'd go through a brick wall for him. He made sure that they brought him in as head coach. This whole team was about to boycott and say, we're not going to, essentially almost play football if you don't have Antonio Pierce as his head coach. So, it was kind of writing on the wall that this marriage between Antonio Pierce, Davante Adams, and even Jacobs is, to some degree, like I think will want to return if they give him the right deal. And remember that the Raiders staff that didn't give Jacobs this extension last season, this is Antonio Pierce now. Pierce is now there to say, you know what? I want to give you the extension. If it was up to me, I would have given it to you. If it was in my control, I would have given it to you. Maybe he brings him back. It wouldn't be crazy if Jacobs wanted to return to this building up type of feel they got going on in LV And especially if they get a quarterback, a signal caller, like even as low as Russell Wilson, but that's the lowest I would go. I consider Penix Jr., I consider Bo Nix, I consider Kirk Cousins, all those Fields in play for the Raiders. I think they get one of those bigger options. I don't think they're resorting to something a lot lower than that. I think they're going to swing big. They know Davante Adams is on a short, leash or shelf life. Davante Adams has maybe the 1 year before he starts showing signs of real decline and getting injured. At least 1 year, and maybe a year and a half. I think he can pull through. But Raiders GM discussing this has no plans to trade wide receiver Davante Adams this offseason. He's a Raider. These GMs shutting down these rumors. And on this note, so let's just close the door on that. We don't even need to discuss it anymore. These guys are not available for trade. But when people say to me, hey, Smitty, I really think the Bears are just kind of bluffing to try and up the value of the one pick by pretending that they may or may not trade it. They could trade it. They don't trade it. There's a lot of strategy involved. Let me tell you something. That's crap. That's crap. Even if they're doing it, that's crap. And I don't think they're doing it. I think they very much want to trade Justin Fields. This whole we may or may not trade Fields depends on the offers that come in. Everyone says they want to up the value of the pick. Let me tell you something. Do you think that these teams could toy around with the idea of saying, hey, Adams is available for the right price, Jefferson's available for the right price? Like, do you think these teams would even test that relationship? No, because you're putting a fracture between you and this player. You're fracturing the foundation of the relationship when you tell this player you're worth putting out there as a potential trade piece so he can gain something. I'm willing to compromise my public belief in you to gain something. And if Ryan Poles, who I don't think is that good of a GM, everybody keeps saying how great of a trade he made. He passed on CJ Stroud. You could say he wouldn't have been one. Doesn't matter. He passed on CJ Stroud. And he might, maybe, if you're suggesting pass on the number one overall quarterback again, I don't think he's going to make that mistake again, although he may. He may. But everybody that says Ryan Poles is so great, this and that, if he's going to keep Justin Fields, he's fracturing the relationship between Justin Fields and the organization by not confidently backing him and trying to use him as collateral damage to try and up the value of a draft pick. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Not to mention, you don't even know if it's going to up the value of it. So, if Ryan Poles' bright idea is to pretend he wants to trade Fields, fracture the relationship, not publicly support him, it's crap. And if he trades him, it's a big mistake as well. I don't think this thing works out. I don't think it works. Caleb, to me, in Chicago specifically with Shane Waldron, I don't think works out. And I don't like the way this is being handled. If they want to keep Fields, they better not keep Fields because of the way they're treating him in this whole process. You do not do that to your quarterback. If he's your quarterback, you stand behind him. You don't compromise your public belief and support for him to try and up a little bit of value in your trade avenues. I think it's crap. And that's this piece of news kind of in a nutshell. I think right here, Bears GM Ryan Poles says he hasn't had any big-time conversations with teams about possibly trading out of the number one pick, but a lot of clubs have checked in and to take the temperature. Says that it would have to help our organization significantly to trade out of the pick. It's just, look, I know it's smoke and mirrors, and if you've decided you're 100% moving on from Justin Fields, then it makes sense that you're not damaging or fracturing the relationship. But for any of you that say, but even then, he's making a mistake because you could have Marvin Harrison Jr. and Fields instead of getting Caleb Williams. I don't understand that at all. It's a bad move. But if he doesn't, for those that say Fields is staying, explain to me why he's compromising his rapport with his quarterback. Explain that to me. To gain trade value? Who knows if it works? There's that news. We got a super chat that came in from Matt. Matt, appreciate you. One QB league Deshaun Watson plus a 26-second for Fields and a third. I'd take Fields, bro. I trust Deshaun Watson very little. Very little. Give me Fields all day. You're talking about second and third rounders. I don't care about those. I make it happen. Here's another. This is another rumor that I don't buy into. Minnesota Vikings have had discussions with the New England Patriots about the third overall pick. It makes sense that the Vikings would have the discussion. It would be very disappointing if the New England Patriots traded out of May or JD5. It would be, and if they don't go get Justin Fields, it'd still be equally as disappointing. They trade out of that pick, trade for Justin Fields, and don't use the 3 on Marvin Harrison Jr. So hopefully this is not true. Patriot fans are probably scared that that's the way they will operate during the NFL draft. Similar to me being fearful of the Cardinals screwing up and botching the number 4 overall pick if Marvin Harrison Jr. is there. I have a little bit of a fear of that, but I think the Cardinals might make the right choice. I think they're on the right track right now. He's a Raider. I reported on Davante Adams already. Here's Russell Wilson piece. Denver Broncos head coach Sean Payton said Tuesday a decision on quarterback Russell Wilson's future will with the team will be within the next 2 weeks. The decision will be laid down. They're gonna try and trade him, obviously, but who's gonna take on this expensive, crazy contract when he's about to become a free agent? He's gonna get released. And everybody says, oh, the contract doesn't make sense to release. It doesn't matter. Nobody wants to pay him the amount of money he's going to be earning. And he's already gone on record, or there's been reports close to him, close to the situation that have said he's willing to play at a league minimum to get a starting job. Now, the problem with this situation, though, is that he might be a post-June cut designation because if the team cuts him now, they're going to owe the entirety of this, whatever the hell it is. I think it's like $80-something million dead cap hit if they cut him before the June deadline. If they wait till after and designate him a post-June 1 release, then Russell Wilson, they take a hit. The Denver Broncos take a $30-something million hit in 2024 and then a $50-something million hit in 2025 and spread it out over 2 years. It's probably one of the worst contracts that the NFL's seen in quite some time, given the dead cap. This is a dead cap that you just don't take on as an organization. If anything, it kind of makes me think that Sean Payton doesn't know what he's doing anymore, because how is he going to find, even though Russell Wilson is not the best quarterback in the NFL, how is he going to find a better quarterback unless he trades up to get JD5 or May? Maybe they just draft Penix Jr. anyway. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. The Denver Broncos are sitting at the 12 overall pick. If it was me, I'd keep Russell Wilson, not take the huge cap hit. I know they saved some money for 2024 to spend, but draft Penix Jr. or draft, Bo Nix, figure it out. But for him to just be, this is an awful contract. This is an awful decision at the end of the day for me, looking at this thing from a top level vantage point, is that you're cutting a man that you just gave a big contract to. And during the season last year, you asked him to take a seat on the bench if he would renegotiate his injury clause, because you were afraid, what if you go out and get hurt and we're going to owe you a boatload of money walking into the 2024 offseason. Just a dumb way to operate, and I don't know that I believe that the Denver Broncos have the ability to turn this thing around anytime soon. This all feels very, very chaotic to me. It feels very Mickey Mouse. It feels very, very, disorganized. And the fact that Sean Payton misused Javonte Williams all in season long after an amazing offseason makes me question whether Sean Payton really does have what it takes anymore. I don't know that he does. I'm very pessimistic about Denver walking into next year, especially with this situation and the way it's going about. But here's the problem. If he's a post-June cut, a lot of teams are going to make their decision about their quarterback and have to go the route of the rookie draft, have to go the route of signing another quarterback before all the quarterbacks fly off the board, and they have to be scared, right? What if I don't win Russell Wilson sweepstakes? Then what do? We can't just go in without a quarterback. So everyone's going to make decisions and fill their holes, and he's going to be a post-June 1 release. So we'll see what happens on that. But Russell Wilson most certainly is not going to be in Denver. They didn't want him in Denver during the season. What makes anybody think he's staying? It's ridiculous. Geno Smith, Seahawks general manager, speaking on this one, QB Geno Smith is a starter until he's not, which is not that is not instilling confidence in your quarterback. And that's why your boy told you from the jump, as soon as Seattle brought in Ryan Grubb, the offensive coordinator from Washington this past season, the offensive coordinator of who? Michael Penix Jr. Michael Penix Jr. and Ryan Grubb just worked together. Offensive coordinator, quarterback. Kind of ironic that Penix Jr. is going to have a draft value around this territory. I think especially after he throws and works out and proves himself and tests. They're going to look at his health and all that. And once he passes those with flying colors, and I think he will, the Seahawks are going to take a gamble on him. And this news report here lets you know that he won't be starting more than half the season. It's going to be the Penix Jr. show. That's my prediction anyway, and I love it. I love getting Grubb and Penix Jr. together and trying to develop the Seattle Seahawks situation. Because Penix Jr., I don't know if anybody knows, but Penix Jr. made Rome Odunze a freaking moon man extraordinaire.
The moon man, dropping loads in outer space.
Both moon man extraordinaires.
Space monsters.
Space monsters, indeed. Mike Evans, a report. The Bucs are moving towards re-signing Mike Evans. It does feel like something that will eventually happen. I think he wants to be with Baker Mayfield, but money talks, so it depends on what he's gonna, see in terms of getting a bag. He's older though, so teams might be apprehensive about giving him a long-term deal. Maybe the Bucs can give him something better up front. Desperation money. Give him that FU money that he can use for a year. T. Higgins, no plans to trade T. Higgins. According to this report, the Bengals have no plans to trade him. That means that he would be franchise tagged and traded, right? He's been tagged. He's playing at the 21.8 million, I believe, for wide receivers, and he will not be traded. He'll not be tagged and traded. So he'll be playing. He'll either sign a new contract. I don't know that he will. He may kind of fold and say my market's not what I thought. But, he wants top 5 wide receiver money. He's not going to get that. At least he shouldn't get that. If the Bengals give him that money, they're crazy. This situation is kind of a nice breath of fresh air. Jonnu Smith is out of Atlanta. He was kind of a hindrance and in the way, kind of a disruption, a hurdle for Kyle Pitts. This is great news for Kyle Pitts. I'm glad that Jonnu's gone, to be honest with you. He's a decent ad for a team that needs a backup / rotational tight end, but we don't want him standing in the way of that Kyle Pitts situation. So all good news for the most part. It's good to know what's going on with Justin Jefferson. It's good to know that the Vikings are going to be in hot pursuit of a quarterback. They still very much, a report came out today, the Vikings want to bring back Kirk Cousins. That's still in their plans. They hope to get it done. They said they could get it done. These are different reports. There are reports all over the place. Kirk Cousins is going and testing the market, though. He's probably feeling a lot like Fields feels. Fields feels second choice right now. And that's, again, a very toxic relationship between an organization that failed Fields, bring in an OC that I think will fail Fields. And no matter what way this thing goes in Chicago, I don't think it ends well. Which is why it sounds hypocritical for me to say that if Ryan Poles trades Fields, he's making a mistake. But if he keeps him, he'll fail him. So at the end of the day, it's a catch-22. It's the reason I think he'll fail him is his inability to recognize what he needs to do offensive coordinator-wise. To bring in Shane Waldron, who is not bad, but he's not great. He's not a magician. He's not a absolute QB, like reshaping artist. Like, how is he going to reshape this for Fields? He's got to repair a lot. And they should have brought in Kingsbury, somebody that knows how to work with quarterbacks better than anybody. But they didn't. And so if they keep Fields, they're going to ruin him. If they trade him away, they show they don't know the value of things, because you could have had Fields, a Kingsbury, and a Marvin Harrison Jr. That I would have got on board. I'm not a Bears hater at all. I loved the Bears last year. I thought the Bears would do well. And this isn't a revenge move on my part to say, well, they failed me, so I'm going to be against them. I don't play that game. I'm very unbiased. Anybody that really, truly knows me, some people think I dig my heels in on certain things. I don't. I don't. I'm an adjust and adapt mentality. Always have been. We talked mad crap about Alvin Kamara during the height of his off the field issues, and we flipped that script so quickly when he started falling to the 7, 8, 9 round range on Underdog Fantasy. Promo code Smitty, by the way. Underdog, links in the description. Link I'm going to drop in the live chat right now. If you sign up now, you won't be scrambling later to get into drafts. We'll be drafting during the graveyard shifts a lot, so hit that link. I just dropped it in the live chat right this very second. It's in the description of every video, including this one. But on Underdog, we see Kamara go in the 7, 8, 9 rounds. Immediately became one of the best values in fantasy football. That's the way you have to approach fantasy football. You can't dig your heels in. You can't be stubborn. You can't look at things with a biased lens as much as possible. You have to try and be objective. And if the Bears have brought in Kingsbury, they keep Fields, and they draft Marvin Harrison Jr. at 1 even, and show the balls to do it, I would be on board. I would have been on board. Now, if they draft Marvin Harrison at 1, keep Fields, let's say, in a fairy tale world, I'm still going to be excited. I don't know. I would be excited for it. I might come around a little bit on it. I just don't think Waldron's the guy. But I think Fields and Marvin Harrison Jr. are too hard to pass up. I will like that combination. I will circle back in and tell you, I'm a fan of this combo. I wish it was different. I wish the tripod was different. I wish the OC part of the tripod was different. But the Fields Marvin Harrison portion, the two endpoints of this triangle, are so strong, maybe they hold Waldron up. So all of it depends on, what happens in the draft, landing spots and all. Landing spots are everything. Dial on in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial on in, dial on in, dial on in. Lots of news today. We covered it pretty quickly. We covered it in 22 minutes. By the way, I had that Lou Molinari's pizza last night. I had the leftovers today. My stomach felt like it shrunk, so I couldn't eat the whole pie last night. And even my stomach started cramping up as soon as I ate, which I was fine. I mean, it didn't cramp that long, but I was eating and I was like, oh, like it was crazy. My body was like, what are you doing? You're putting food in your system. But I made it about 50 hours or so. Ate the pizza pie. Today I ate the leftovers of it. And I went, so far I've walked 7,700 steps. And I ran half of that. I ran about a mile, 2 miles, mile and a half, 2 miles. And then I walked the rest of it, whatever that ends up equaling. I got my car. I got these blacked out emblems on my vehicle. When I purchased my vehicle, I negotiated that in, so I had to bring it back into the dealer. The dealer's about 2 miles down the road. So I ran home, dropped it off, ran home, waited all day, and then before the show ran back and walked home, ran back. And so I got a majority of my steps in already, but tonight I'm going to go about 5, 6, 7,000 steps, I think, maybe at least 5. But I'm flirting between 13,000 and 15,000 steps a day. And I think that mixed with the fast that I did will kickstart me into a very, very good rhythm. And I weighed myself after the Lou Molinari's. I'm at the same weight, so that's great. If Fields traded, I hope he goes to Atlanta. Of course, Atlanta's the number one landing spot for Justin Fields. I mean, really, Miami Dolphins would be, but they're not in play. Seattle would also be phenomenal. But Atlanta's probably the best spot. Probably the best spot for Justin Fields.
Leave it on the fields.
Just in time.
Fields of dreams.
Fields like making love.
Outstanding in his fields.
Fields so good.
Fields General. My field's good. Uneven playing fields.
Battlefields tested.
Fields. He's for reals.
I do think, so question here is a good question, but who is the best between Fields, J85, and May? I think they're all really arguable, depends on the situation. I think May could be really good in the right spot. I also think, J85 will be good anywhere. So J85 is my number one of the three. I think Drake May in the right spot could be better than Fields. I think Drake May in the wrong spot could be what we've kind of seen from Herbert the last handful of years. Drake May and Herbert, they play like each other, and they kind of, in my opinion, mirror each other. I don't think they're perfect for every system. And I think JD5, you build the system. He is the system. So he'll be good anywhere because he is the system. Lamar Jackson is the system. Jalen Hurts is the system. AR5 is the system. But with a guy like May, if you put him in the wrong situation, look what Herbert's been. Herbert hasn't been what he's supposed to be. I said it going into last year. And granted, I said T-Law would be good, and T-Law was like spoiled milk. But I didn't believe Herbert had what he needed yet. And Herbert has definitely, failed to produce. Not that he's not elite. He's elite capable. But I think May is like that. But May in the right spot could be the second best quarterback in this draft. I really believe that. I think he really could be. I think Penix Jr. could be the second best quarterback in the draft. I think Bo Nix could be the second best quarterback in this draft. The common theme here is landing spot. Landing spot is king. Situation is king. It's got to be the right spot. Dial in. Seattle could give up Lockett in a trade. Lockett's probably getting cut. So I don't think Lockett's getting traded, my boy. Lockett is a cap casualty likelihood. Especially at his age. He's like 95 years old. So expect Lockett to be traded. To be released, not traded. You never know, though. You never know, Dean. I love Herbert on the Pats. Yeah, I would too. Right now, Fields is the best QB, says Matt O. Matt O made it to, I think, 72 hours. So congratulations, Matt O. Matt O to the moon. And granted, he said he wasn't walking or doing some of the calorie burning, but like to just do that in general is tough. So Matt O completed it 72 hours. Congrats, Matt O. Way to go, pal. Way to go. The Bears trade back to Atlanta. I want picks plus London. Let me just tell you something, Jesus. You're not getting Drake London. You're not getting Drake London. They're not giving up Drake London. They would probably much rather trade for Justin Fields than give up Drake London. I know that's what you'd want. I don't blame you. You're not wrong for over asking, but you're not getting Drake London. JSN then says Birdman. JSN to the moon if they get a quarterback, other than Geno Smith. If they bring in Penix Jr., JSN to the freaking moon. Penix Jr. to JSN all day long. Penix Jr. to DK all day long. Do it live. Penix Jr. is perfect for Seattle. Plus, they have his OC from Washington sitting there right now. They just hired him. It makes sense. They brought him in, so they're probably bringing in Penix Jr. The writing's probably on the wall. Matto says, 65 hours. He went 65 hours. I went about 50. Matto went about 15 hours over that. That's great, man. Especially you go to bed for one more day. It's really, really hard. Nice job, bro. Nice job. If he's traded Atlanta, I'm on board with that. That entire offense would be unstoppable, says Bear. Yeah, Fields to Atlanta would rock. Would absolutely crush. Would love it. 85 of you in here, punch that thumb up button on your way in the door. Please hit the thumb up button now. Subscribe if you're new. 1.8 for Fields then. Hey, Jesus wants to negotiate with me. So here's the thing, Jesus. I got roasted even in my own, comments when I said that Fields would cost a first rounder. And everyone's like, he's not. He's going to cost a third or a second. It's a competitive market. A guy like Fields could easily go for not one of these top picks. And I don't even think the 8 straight up. It would be something like an 8 moves down to the second round. You know what I mean? It's a big difference to say, we'll give you our second rounder. You give us the 8. We'll give you Fields. That's not like trading the first rounder for Fields. That's a move down. And it's a significant move down, but it's a significant quarterback upgrade. I think when people suggest that Fields can't garner a first round pick, I think they're failing to understand the market space that's in the demand, the market and demand, the supply and demand for an elite quarterback. The demand is huge. This is like one house going on the market in a community where you have 500 people that want to buy in that neighborhood right then and there. And as soon as that home is listed at $400,000, you have people wanting to pay $450 because it's the only one. Fields is one of the only guys available that has the elite talent So Atlanta may have to pay the price. And to be honest with you, if I'm Atlanta, and just like when you buy a car and you get to that negotiation point, you're about to walk out and you're pushing each other and you know you're at the limit. You push them as far as you can go. You can either turn around and not get the car over maybe just a little bit of wiggle room that you haven't yet given, or you could just surrender and get the vehicle and have the vehicle of your dreams. Atlanta Falcons giving up this 8 pick for Fields if they got a second rounder back, so it's a move down, not a surrender of a first rounder. At the end of the day, I would do it. And at the end of the day, I think the demand between all these other teams here, all these teams need quarterbacks, is so great that that's going to be the cost you're going to have to pay to get it done. And the question I'd ask anybody is, yeah, the 8 pick is great. It could be Neighbors. It could be, probably won't be Neighbors, but could be Neighbors. Could be a Dunze at least. Could be Bowers if you wanted to go Kyle Pitts and Bowers. I'd do the double tight end. I wouldn't even care. I don't care what anybody says. I'd take Bowers in a millisecond. But Denny, hold on a second. But for anybody to say that this, hold on, Denny, hold on. For anybody to say that the Atlanta, Denny, if I add you to the phone line and I haven't introduced you yet, you got to stay quiet, or I can't do that. Do you like that privilege?
Stop yelling at me.
Okay, but I'm in the. I added you, but you got to know to stay quiet. Okay.
And you're still yelling at me.
Okay.
Why are you yelling at me?
Okay, hold on, Denny. The number 8 over. Okay, Denny, call back when you're ready. Call back when you're ready.
No.
Yep. You're not listening.
Finish him. Call terminated.
I'm in a groove, Denny. I'm trying to explain something. If the number 8 overall pick is standing between you and having London, Fields, Kyle Pitts, Bijan, and a defense, and you could address the offensive line in 100,000 different ways. You don't have to use the 8 pick on it. If the 8 pick is really standing in the way of you having Fields or no Fields, you tell me. At the end of the day, if the competitive market space for Fields is more aggressive than you think, then what's your expectation? How are you're gonna walk in? Yeah, I like Penix Jr., I like Bo Nix. Those are not the end of the world scenarios. I get it. But you give me Fields with London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan, the defense, it's worth it to me. It's worth it to me, especially if you can get an offensive lineman in the second round that you feel is actually kind of comparable to the offensive lineman that's at 8, 9, 15, 20. So you've got to really look at what you're truly getting. Denny, now you're live, and then Marsman rock out, or sorry, Marsman Travis. Go ahead, Denny.
No, I'm not comfortable. Talking about how I feel.
Okay.
Let me just. No, Smitty, let me just, you know what I mean? Because I obviously just made you mad.
Denny, I'm not mad. I just have to run I'm running a business. so I have to just kind of bob and weave. But I'm never mad at you, bro. Never mad at you. Ever. 0%. Zero. It's just, I got to move on. When you're not listening, I got to move on, and then we bounce back. We bounce right back. You come in, we bro-fist it out, we're good.
Sometimes I'm not, sometimes I just want to say hi.
I'm never mad at you, Denny. I'm never mad at you. But if you want the blanket, hey, let's add this person in the middle of me speaking, type of situation, you got to be able to recognize it. That's all I'm saying. Okay, Denny, what can I do for you, young man? What can I do for you? What can I do for you?
I just need to know who's zipping it. Okay, Smitty, great to talk to you. I'm a Patriots fan, and why wouldn't I be? It's just where I'm from, and so if you have the number 3 pick.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Smith? What are you doing?
Can I tell you exactly how to win a championship in 2 calendar years? I'll tell you. You ready? Okay. You draft Marvin Harrison Jr. at number 3 overall, and you trade for Justin Fields.
Okay. Smith, that's huge. What you're saying right now is huge. You know what I mean? You act like, we do that in the... Smith, do you know where we're at in Boston with the QB in New England? Okay, so Smitty, I'm just saying, what did you just say? Do you understand that the whole world is going to hate if we don't get a QB? What do you mean?
I don't think he's understanding what I'm saying. Denny, I just mapped it out for you. I just told you blatantly the quarterback you'd be getting. You trade for Justin Fields, and you draft Marvin Harrison Jr. at number 3, and you win a championship. Potential. At least you go to the Final Four. Yeah. Oh, now it sounds good. Now you open up the ears there, Denny. All right. Hey, hold on 1 second, Denny. Let's go to Travis real quick. Travis, go ahead.
Hey, Travis, how you doing?
What's up, Denny?
Chilling.
Where in Boston are you?
Quincy.
Oh, Quincy. I'm on the Cape.
Oh, you down Cape Cod?
Yep. Yeah.
You down?
All right. Hey, guys. No offense. No one cares about that right now. We got to talk Justin Fields. Okay, so hold on, Denny.
No.
Yeah. Hey.
Smitty doesn't care.
Yeah, I got to keep the show moving. I got to keep the show moving. I can't have a show for 2 people. Travis, what are your thoughts about all this news today, and specifically New England, and what Denny's asking? Like, you take JD5 or May if you don't get Justin Fields. Like, that's the only option, right? If you're talking about having the 3 overall pick, your only options, if you're New England, like there's rumors, like I said, about talking with Minnesota about trading down. That would be a kick to the nutsack to every New England Patriot fan. And I think, like a Cardinal fan, I kind of fear the same thing with the 4. I feel like the Cardinals will have Marvin Harrison Jr. and they'll trade the pick or something. But they have to take JD5. They have to take Daddy.
How do you feel about it, Travis?
Finish him.
You have to get through 85 or Drake May. That's it. Like they keep talking on the radio about play it safe and trade back and take a lineman and figure out quarterback later, and that's all. It's stupid. You only get the number 3 pick every so many years. Unless you want to keep tanking.
Yeah, it's either gonna be JD5, May, or Fields. You could say Russ Wilson. Like, if you could get me Russell Wilson, but that's the problem is you won't know that. You can't even go down that dangerous road. I guess you could. It would be very dangerous, but dangerous Russ. You could go down that road of waiting on Russ Wilson and drafting Marvin Harrison Jr., which would be an amazing move, I think. But at the end of the day, if I'm New England, I look at this more long-term. I don't know that Russell Wilson's long-term. New England needs this opportunity. You've been staring this opportunity in the face for months now. And if you're going to botch it by not getting Fields, May, or JD5, it's an L. It's an L. It's got to be one of those 3 players. And I'm not saying you trade.
I agree.
I'm not saying you trade 3 for Fields. I'm just saying your quarterback from this draft has after the draft is over, you either have to have Fields on your team via trade, and then draft Marvin Harrison Jr., or you're drafting JD5 or May. That's it. There's only 3 options, or it's an L.
Did someone get that?
Go ahead, Travis.
No way Caleb Williams falls like out of the top 2 picks.
No way.
If he fell and say JD5 and Drake May jump ahead of him, the Patriots just take Caleb Williams?
Yeah, they would. They would. I wouldn't say there's no way, because what if something comes out about him? You know, like I said, nobody attended his birthday party, like Bo Callahan. Like something big though, something bigger than that comes out. It's anything can derail anybody. He could fail the test that they take. He could go out and just look awful throwing the football, and then he's got to do a second pro day, and he doesn't even like up his his value on that. Like anything can happen. I mean, JD5's going to look like Lamar, and I believe he climbs half the leagues in the NFL will have him as their number 1 QB. I just think Chicago doesn't want to go the route of another JD5 / Field / Lamar Jackson. I think Caleb's a little bit more Aaron Rodgers than he is Lamar.
It's a good comp, actually.
Yeah, he just, I don't know that he'll become Aaron Rodgers, but he has that style. He can scramble. He can, he can scramble better than A-Rod. But I'm just saying he's got that that move around, run to the sideline and still throw the football, downfield. Like Caleb's got skills for sure, but there's a lot of question marks. All right,
when he's not crying to his mother.
Okay.
What, Denny?
He's got skills. I like him. Travis. Hey, Travis, it's me. I'm like 20 miles away from you right now. We're both in Massachusetts.
You got it, buddy.
Here's my pick. You want to hear my pick?
Yeah.
For the New England
Let's hear it, Denny. Let's hear it.
You got to rip it. And I hope you know what? Give me Drake May. Give me Drake May. He's a big boy. He's like, stay in the pocket.
I like him.
We're ready to win.
I like him. You give him a receiver like, maybe even Ridley. I don't think you're winning a Super Bowl with May and Ridley. So Ridley's a stopgap measure to help develop May. But if you got May, the only dilemma is can you get aggressive and pair him with a Dunze somehow? Can you trade a future first rounder, move a second rounder up, and get a Dunze?
That's what I'd be doing.
Then all of a sudden,
sitting there. God, he'll be sitting there. May will be sitting there at 3, and
maybe
I'm not a big fan of the new coach, to tell you the truth. Mayo. All right, I see what's happening. And we're just in the same wheelhouse where we need to get away from everyone's comfort zone. But, this is Mayo. He looks like the bad guy in every movie I've seen. And he was all right to Rod Mayo. So we need, give me a big
Makes sense,
QB
Danny.
that can zip it. Listen, I took a couple passes from Smitty. It shifted in my chest. I couldn't even catch it. You know what I mean? I'm poolside, he's zipping it, and I can't stand people that can't catch passes. They're the worst. And
all right, hang tight, Denny. So yeah, great, Scott. Right. This would be the perfect formula. I don't, as I said earlier, Drake May could be the first or second best quarterback in this draft class if he went to the right ideal situation. But New England isn't an L. It isn't a failure. He won't bust in New England. I truly believe he won't bust in New England, but he won't develop very quickly. Hold on, Denny. He won't develop. Denny, I can't today, Denny. Okay, I got to get through some of this stuff. He won't develop in New England. He'll look like Herbert, I think, as I was saying earlier, like Caleb in a way. He'll look like Herbert. If Drake May is in New England, you'll know he's good. You'll love him. He'll be developing, but not fast enough. You'll be saying, "What are we doing wrong?" We know he's the guy. No one doesn't think Herbert. No one thinks Herbert's bad. No one thinks Herbert is going to fail. Everyone knows Herbert's elite, but he has not been able to get it tapped into yet. And so the same thing if May goes to New England and you got Pop Douglas as his top wide receiver, it's just going to be a slow process, and it's going to be until the next draft class, until you get an Adunze in there. You might as well do everything in your power to trade up and get Adunze or Neighbors or even Bowers, one of the three guys with May, and then all of a sudden May becomes potentially not only one of the best quarterbacks in this draft class, but he'll develop really, really, really fast. 1 second, I'm gonna add this caller real quickly here. A 913 caller. Who's this and where are you calling from? Nine 913 caller. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
This is Philly from South Dakota, and I think Drake May is the best.
Thanks. Is your name Danielia? Danielia? Hi, Danielia. Well, go ahead, Travis. Go ahead, Travis. I tried to add him, but it won't work. Go ahead.
My bad. I'm sorry.
You're good, Denny.
Hey, what's up, bro?
I was just gonna say they could move up into the back into the first too, because they have the number 34 pick, so you could easily put that with a first rounder or something. And
how high?
Get back into the top 20.
How high could a 34 and a future first get you? Do you think?
You think you get into the
chat drop
like
that.
I would say in the 16, 17, 18, depending on the team.
You think like New Orleans would give up the 14 for the 34 and a future first?
I think he could. I'm not saying they could get into like the top 10 or 12 or anything, but into the 15 or 14, I guess, with them maybe. You might have to throw in a sweetener or something.
Yeah,
too,
guys,
but it would be worth it.
In the chat, drop how high you think the 34 and a future first would move that 34 up. How high could the New England Patriots get? Danielle, is Danielle still on the phone?
Oh, is that what you're calling me now?
Well, that's
what you're doing.
I thought you were another caller. The way you were speaking earlier.
Oh, so you're calling Danielle?
Danielle was on the phone a second ago. She called in and Denny, what do you want the New England Patriots to do? This is the last question, Denny. Then I'm gonna let you go because I'm gonna be getting off here in a little bit.
All right, fine. I want him to just sit back on QB at 3, and no matter what happens, let's take who's there at QB, and let's not go, you idiot, to wait for that kid's son, man. He's something else, though. He's a hell of a wide receiver. I know that guy a lot.
What guy?
Marvin Hart.
The guy? Oh, the guy.
You ever see that documentary of his dad?
Yeah, I think so. 20-25 range. Somebody's saying 27. 34 to 27 costs you a first rounder? I think it could get higher than that. I think it'd be in the teens.
Yeah, it's a 34th pick, so you're not going to give up that much more.
Yeah, it's almost a first rounder.
Oh, my God.
I would say like 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I think you could get in there.
Yeah.
But Adunze won't. I don't think Adunze will be there, though.
No, what about like a Brian Thomas?
Yeah. Brian Thomas, Drake May. I like that. Like Leggett at the 34, maybe he falls. I don't know.
Give me that.
I mean, there's ways to develop, man.
Sorry. All right. I thought we were talking, but you're talking to someone. Smitty, I love you as always. And
Denny sounds so defeated. Denny, go ahead, Denny. Give us your final thoughts, Denny. Go ahead. Floor is yours.
I thought I was, and then I thought you said I was.
You interrupt me all day long. That's all you do is interrupt me. So, I interrupt you once. I'm sorry.
That's my job. Okay. I went all the way out to Vegas to interrupt you.
Hey, I get it. I appreciate that. But I mean, I interrupted you once. Go ahead, Denny. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll take F3. Is somebody talking? Is this what I do to you? Okay,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
It is.
If I do this to you, okay,
yeah. Go ahead. Let me show you what you do to me. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. This is all I feel. This is Smitty show, and go listen to this guy. I'd like to drink Bay at the third.
The guy. The guy.
I really appreciate everyone that yells at me. I really do appreciate it.
All right, go ahead.
You.
Final thoughts. Go ahead, Denny. Final thoughts. Go.
Just go QB. Who's ever left at QB?
QB to the moon.
As an Oregon Patriots fan.
To the moon.
Just take it, man. See what happens, man. What else you gonna do?
There it is. Denny's final thoughts. Amazing. Appreciate you, Denny. I'm gonna send you to Saturn for interrupting you and yelling at you a little bit today. I'm sorry I yelled at you, Denny. I'm never mad at you. But sometimes I got to keep the show moving. Is all okay. Denny to Saturn.
I like how you gave it to me back, so I know how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I know how you feel now, and I hate Denny now. I hate Denny.
No, we don't hate Denny, bro. All right, I appreciate you.
All right, appreciate it.
Later, Denny.
All right, buddy.
Denny to the moon. Later. All right, Travis. Anything else? Any other thoughts? What about the news today? Anything about the other pieces of news? Russell Wilson, the Fields, the Davante Adams, the JJ, the rumors about the Vikings maybe trying to get the New England Patriot number 3 overall pick, which I think is more rumor than anything, but it wouldn't shock me though.
Yeah. If the Patriots or the Redskins, for that matter, trade out, the Commanders, I guess, trade out, it just doesn't make sense unless there was some insane Herschel Walker type deal where people are just blowing you away because, both these teams, I think Washington is actually set up better than New England. But both these teams have a chance to really kickstart a rebuild and, fast forward to some things here if they play this draft correctly.
Yeah.
And then on Russell Wilson, there's going to be, I don't know, what would you say, 4 to 5 teams that he could easily land on and start for? Easily, right? I mean, there's going to be demand for him.
Yeah, I mean, even when I go
to the get traded because of the money. But.
I mean, even when I go to the Fields board here, the Bears, obviously, because he's on there, that's the top spot of where he's at. But I really think the Falcons, Commanders, Broncos will be in contention. Vikings, maybe, but depends on. Seahawks, I think, still in this conversation. I don't know if everybody remembers when the Raiders kind of publicly, about maybe 3 weeks ago, came out and said, O'Connell's our guy. And then, literally a week later, they're aggressively going to look at quarterback in the draft. So everybody's got to take it with a grain of salt when they hear anything during smoke season in any direction. And the fact that we're hearing Geno Smith is going to start until, what was the quote I had, this awful.
From the Fantasy Football Show.
Wrong button. There's this quote I have here it's on Geno. Let me see if I can find it. It's just an awful quote. Where is this at? Here it is. I think this is it. No, it's Russell Wilson. Here it is. So here's this from the GM, John Schneider. He said Geno Smith is a starter until he's not. That should tell you everything. Yeah. And again, I think Penix Jr. is definitely in the cards because of the OC that they now have in Seattle. It's the OC of Penix Jr. Washington. But I think my point being that, we might hear that Geno's the guy. They definitely didn't let him go. They're paying decent money to keep him. But don't think for a second they couldn't grab Fields. Because, again, what do you do if you're the Seahawks? You don't know if you're getting Fields. You have to have a contingency plan. And Geno would be one of the best backups in the league. And that would be great. You'd feel good about that.
Yeah, I was going to say that, they got to give Seattle credit. They've set themselves up perfectly. They can go any direction they want. If they get stuck with Geno, you can get by with them at least, worst case scenario. And if not, you still get Fields. Or if you draft a Penix, you don't have to throw him into the fire right away. I think you'd probably take the job from him within a few weeks even. Yeah. But I would say there was something that they wanted to develop with him. You could sit him for a few weeks and just kind of roll him in there as you get confident in him.
I would not be opposed to starting him right away either, though. I think this whole this whole notion of sitting quarterbacks, with me, it doesn't fly anymore. I think the NFL the college game is too close to the NFL game, and you're just wasting time. Right. You're just wasting time. Geno Smith, if we're all predicting Geno to replace him at some point, why not just put him in? Why not? If Geno's going to get replaced, that means he's going to struggle some. So why not let Penix struggle some? And then by the time you're going to throw him in, he'll already be in, firing on all cylinders. I 100% would never sit a rookie quarterback, ever. unless I'm drafting a backup like I draft Rattler to be the guy that might be the guy that replaces Geno. Then of course I would draft Rattler in hopes that he becomes the guy by midseason or something like that. But drafting one of these big name players like in the top 15, as a coach, if I was a coach, I would never sit a rookie. I think that's gone. That's gone.
Yeah, let's move past that. James is asking, do you think Miami keeps Tua? And that's something I just keep going back to. Is like, I think they got to go in a different direction. I think everything would have to hit perfectly for them to win a championship with them.
Yeah, I mean the fact that they don't want Fields is, for what we know right now, that could change. Could be under the radar. But if they don't want Fields, man, I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know how you wouldn't want Justin Fields if you've got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane.
Just that speed, put that speed into the rest of it. It's so dangerous.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, Tua, they want to keep Tua. They better have a backup plan. Unfortunately, Miami's going to be a lot like the Jets in 2024, like the Jets were in 2023. Because if Tua goes down, and it's a matter of time before he takes a headshot, because I don't think he's, I don't know, or just plays badly or whatever. But if he gets hurt or takes a headshot and he's out, they're not winning. They're not unless they draft a Bo Nix or a Penix Jr. and they impress us with that planning and the. But the other thing too is it sounds like they want to give Tua an extension, and you normally don't do that and take a quarterback in round one. So I don't know. Maybe they. I don't know. I think Miami Mike is amazing, but he's obviously a little off here. He's off on this situation, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I don't know why you would.
Real quick, and then I'll jump on another reason I called was, I think it was Jesus. He was talking about how he'd want something premium, like for Fields if they moved him and stuff. And I completely understand as a Bears fan that point, but I think a lot of Bears fans might be not overvaluing the player, but overvaluing the situation, because once the Bears go to move Fields, like you discussed, they're already pushing the point where they have to move them, because how do you talk this way and then pull it back and patch everything up? And I mean, the leverage is going to be pushing against them quite a bit, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty.
That's what ultimately forces the price down.
It's pretty disrespectful to say, "Oh, at the cost of our relationship with Fields, let's pretend like we're going to trade him." Like that is like, do you see anybody else doing that? Like, no, that believes in their quarterback. No. So, when someone says, "Who's your quarterback?" and you don't say it's Justin Fields, at least they could say it's Fields, and then would you trade out of the pick? We don't know what the future holds, but as of right now, our starting quarterback is Justin Fields, and we love him. Like that should be how you approach it. Even if you're contemplating entertaining the offers, if you're such a penny pincher in terms of draft capital, in terms of trade, and you don't think that the one's going to command whatever you want anyway, you think you got to play a game with the mind of your QB who's already failed and has probably confidence problems in Chicago. You probably won't if you get him out. That's why I want him out, so we can start fresh. But you think that's the right approach to getting a higher value for your number one overall pick? This is why you probably shouldn't be in charge. I think Poles is if Poles is gonna keep Fields, he shouldn't be in charge, because he just absolutely, I think, kicked him right in the sack. And if I'm a quarterback, I want my coach to be like, I don't care about draft capital and trades. I care about my relationship with my quarterback. You ask me if I'm trading Fields, we're not trading Fields. Or as of this moment, you could at least say it with some sort of like, look, we don't know what the future holds. As of this moment, he's our quarterback, and we absolutely know we can win with him. That's what I would say. If I was entertaining trade offers, I would say it that way, and that's it. That's even a little bit of like you're not fully supporting him, but at least you're coming strong, and you can respect it. But this is crap. Be like, oh no, we don't know. We might keep him. We might not. We like him, but we don't like him. You could also say this, that if they're gonna trade Fields, they're devaluing Fields' value. If they're saying he's so good, he's our guy, now Fields has higher value. But when you say, it depends on the offers, now you've lowered the value of Fields. So if you're trading Fields, you've kicked that value in the sack. It's like,
yeah, no matter,
come on.
No matter which way you look at it, it's like bad strategy, bad negotiating tactics.
It's stupid.
Like, you want to keep Fields' value. You want to almost act like you're not trading Fields. Make people think, sometimes that makes people want him more. Like, there's a reason they want to hold him. Let's go get him, Whereas if you're just saying, we'll see what happens, we'll see what comes to us, like, well, they're just going to throw you out, crappy deals unless a big bidding war starts. You're not going to get what you want for it.
Yeah. What's up, DeBolt? You're live, DeBolt.
The topic, I guess again, is my my number one player in top season, just JF1, the number one quarterback in this year's draft. And I agree with you. The Foles kind of showed his hand today. He kind of showed where they're going to go. And it's there's a lot of great teams you got to really think about it. He said his phone's blowing up. It never stops ringing. You got all these teams clamoring for Fields, and you're questioning if you want to keep him. Like, to me, it's a no-brainer. But the Bears don't have brains when it comes to offensive personnel. Defense, they're great. Offense, they're just horrible. So I believe, he's gone. They're going to draft Caleb, and I kind of hope. You're right. Atlanta said if they have to get rid of the 8, isn't it worth it?
It absolutely is. As much as people want to play these, okay, he's not worth this, his completion percentage was this, Fields did. I don't care about any of that. He was playing in a toxic environment where you set up to fail. And you give Atlanta this guy, you give Zach Robinson this guy, and it's gonna be glorious to watch. I can't express how much I like Zach Robinson and this Atlanta Rams coaching staff, because this is the Rams coaching staff. This is the Rams defense. This is the Rams offense, especially passing game. And you put Fields in the hands of Zach Robinson, you're going to see Matthew Stafford production, but with a lot of running, obviously. You're going to see Puka Nacua / Cooper Kupp in Drake London. You're going to see them. I'm sure they want to use the 8 pick on Odunze. I think they're going to do everything in their power not to give up the 8 overall pick. But at the end of the day, they have enough weapons. They don't even need to add Odunze as much as they need to add Fields. So push comes to shove. It all comes down. It doesn't matter what Bob thinks in the comments or Keyboard Caleb or whatever. What matters is what's the market. And if the market commands a first rounder because Denver's willing to give up the 12 pick, well, then you've got to give up the 8 pick. Even if you're getting a second rounder back or something, like I said. An 8 to a second rounder is a move down. It's not necessarily a full surrender of a first round pick. If you've got to do that, you've got to do it. If LV will give up the 13 overall for Fields, if Denver will give up the 12, if New Orleans will give up the 14, if Seattle will give up the 16, if the the Minnesota Vikings will give up the 11, then you can't just sit here and go, hey, we'll give up 2 second rounders. You have to give up what you have to give up depending on the market. It doesn't matter what any watcher, Monday morning quarterback analyst, or a viewer thinks. It doesn't. It matters what the market is. Just like I said, and it's very much a housing market. If a house is worth $400,000, but the housing market is a seller's market, and there's one house going up for sale at $400,000 in a certain neighborhood, and there's 500 people willing to buy it, then guess what's going to happen to that $400,000 house? It's not going to go for $400. Even if the person listed it wrong at $350, it's going for $450, $475, because there's going to be a bidding war for it. Like, so supply and demand, it's the thing that runs everything. It runs everything in life. Supply and demand on the quarterback right now.
Finish him. Call
I'm just in grooves, and Denny, you're disturbing it. 913 caller, 913 caller, what is your name and where are you calling from? Kansas. Zach Samatis?
Yep.
Okay, that's a Zach
I
Samatis.
tried to call earlier, but my phone died, so that's why I was calling back.
Well, okay, Zach from Kansas. What can I do for you, Zach?
Smitty. Okay, so I got a quick question for you. So you're an Arizona fan, right?
Yeah, I'm in Arizona. I am a Cardinal fan. I'm in Arizona, yes.
Okay. So I'm a Kansas City fan, and I was curious, what would it take for the Chiefs to get up in the top 10? So we have, the 33 or 32 overall?
Yep.
32? Okay. So do you think packaging a 32 overall with Snead could get you in the top 10?
That's tough to say. I don't know.
Might take a little more,
I don't think so. It's tough.
I think that's fair, right? I think you could do it.
Ziggy, show me the front door.
You're talking about the Bears right now, right?
Yeah. That's tough to say. Talking about the Bears, what?
You're talking about the Bears right now and what they're going to do with the first.
Yeah, we're talking about that, but you're asking about the Kansas City Chiefs getting in the top 10, though. Isn't that what you want to talk about?
Exactly. Well, so the Bears got the 9th pick overall.
Ziggy off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so the Bears got the 9th pick overall, right?
Yes.
So why not?
Something went wrong.
Since they need help on the offensive line, why not just trade the 9th pick, draft Caleb, get some draft capital for Fields, and then fix all these other holes that you have on defense, on the offensive line, and then be a contender?
Yeah. Shadow became a member. Appreciate you, Shadow. So what's your question, bro? What's your question?
You know what? You say wrong stuff all the way. And I'm with Smitty. I love Smitty. Smitty's just like, yeah. But after you listen to what he's saying, it's not wrong. But, yeah. Smitty's the best.
Danny's just mad at me because I keep hanging.
He's wrong.
He's just.
Let's say the first.
I'm serious. Danny, what's your opinion? What's your opinion on that?
He's just saying. He's just mad at me because I keep hanging up on him. But Denny, you're not applying the common courtesy though when you get on the phone line to wait and you're making sounds and interrupting. It's hard when you're in a rant. So just so you know, I'll stop adding you to the phone line in the fashion that I'm adding you right now. Like you call in, I add you while people are talking or while I'm talking. And if you don't know how to interact in that mode, I probably will just let it ring. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to do that. I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you. But you got to behave, and mingle with the phone line properly, or I can't put you on the phone line like that. You know what I mean? I'll have to wait until I have no callers, and when you call in, I can answer the phone. But if you want to be in on the rotation, you got to play by the rules, bro. Otherwise, I got to keep hanging up on you over and over. I know it's making you mad, but you got to play within the rules, my pal. James dropping a 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate you. Yeah, go ahead, Denny.
Are you done yelling at me?
To the moon.
I'm trying to be done yelling at you, but you're not listening to me today. But go ahead.
I just want to get down what this person just said, and let's just go with the first thing he said, and let's break it down. What did this guy just say? Smith.
He said he wanted to know how the KC Chiefs could move up into the top 10. But then I didn't quite understand where he's going because then he said, "Aren't you talking about the Bears?" And so I don't know why you went in that direction. So what were you saying about that, Zach? You want the Bears 9 pick? Okay.
What's up?
Yeah, you want the Bears 9 pick using the 32 and Snead. You're saying, okay?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking the Bears and the Cardinals kind of have a bunch of holes. So honestly, either one, if it's possible. And I wanted to see how reasonable you think that might be.
Yeah, I don't know. 32 to 9, so big leap.
Well, you think you got to throw something else in there? Like,
tough to know. To be honest, I could see it happening, but I could also see it requiring like another pick.
Okay.
But that's tough. The 9 pick is, you're talking about, that could be Bowers, Neighbors, Adunze, could be Bo Nix, could be Penix Jr., could be a handful of players that, Neighbors could fall, but he probably won't. Like that's a really, really strong pick. I don't know. I don't know if Snead's gonna command that. You think he would, but I don't think he would. Tough to say. But I don't think that's enough. What? Yes, Denny. Thank you for waiting, Denny.
I did. Did I do good?
Well, yeah, but why am I wrong about everything? Go ahead and explain. That's what Zach was asking you to explain yourself. Are you just mad at me, or am I really wrong about everything? Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay, it's mine now. I'm not saying that. No, I'm the one getting. I'm thinking about Penix. No, why am I the one getting teabagged there? I really don't like this. I feel like it's all right. I forgive myself, but no, Penix is gonna be all right.
Is this Joey B on the phone? What are we doing here over the guy over there? The guy.
Oh, you thought it was Denny?
Denny, go ahead. Let's start over. But Denny, do you know what I'm saying? When you call in, you have to be quiet until I'm ready to introduce you into the conversation, or otherwise, why would I add you if you're gonna just interrupt what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So just think about that. When I add you and I'm talking, just wait. Yeah. That's all I'm asking. Otherwise, you wouldn't be yelled at all today. Yeah. But I had to hang up on you 4 times because, like, in the middle of talking, I'd add you because I'm like, I love Denny, and I see Denny calling, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to ignore this call. I love seeing this call. I love seeing Denny's name come over the screen. But like every time I add you, I gotta hang up on you. Okay, so Denny, tell me why I'm wrong, or tell me what you think's gonna happen. I'm not mad at you.
I like when you tell me the truth. That's what I like with my family. You know what I mean? I'm only thinking about the Patriots. You know that, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I just really care about the Patriots.
Hey, Denny, have you heard your $20 hauler song?
No.
Okay, yeah, you want to hear it? Whenever anybody does, this is how much we love you. You don't think you're loved on this show. When anybody drops a $20 hauler, they have the ability to request this song to be played. All right, ready?
All right.
Yeah, give me $20 holler, 'cause everyone's getting bothered, and Brees Hawley's bothered. Smitty, everybody's pretty. I don't even know why they're getting ditty, why, but I do that. That's embarrassing.
Do you remember singing that or no?
Yeah, kind of do. Son of a con.
Do you want to redo it, Denny?
No.
I love it. You had no idea you dropped those bars, did you? You have no memory of that.
Oh yeah, I do. But I do know I was saying.
Have you ever seen Wolf of Wall Street? Have you ever seen Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah.
You know how Leonardo DiCaprio says he drove home all perfect, and that's how he got home, and then they show the car demolished, and then they show what really happened. I think that's probably when you were singing it, you're like, this is a jam. And then when you heard it back, it was like Leo realizing that he had crashed into everything on the way home and just thought.
This how he feels about it, and then this is the reality.
I think you got the voice of an angel. I think you're the songbird of your generation, and I disagree with you.
Smitty, you know what? But I think you have a good voice. And I do like when you sing that song with you and that prick. I love that.
that what?
Well, you did that one, man. One more try.
Did you see that prick?
I'm Boston guy. So when you said one more try, let me put my arms around you. One more try. But Smith, you're funny.
Thanks, Denny. Hey, Denny, I gotta go. Appreciate you. I'm not hanging up on just you. I'm hanging up on everybody one at a time. So, Denny, appreciate you calling back in. You're my boy. Don't get mad. Appreciate you. Later.
Hey, this is my friend, man. Later on.
Go sleep it off. Appreciate you.
One more try. Let me put my arms around you. One more try. Smitty tries to dare with Denny. One more time. Smitty, yes. Love Smitty. In my boy.
All right, later, Denny. All right, hey, Zach, any follow-up, Zach? Anything else? Final thoughts?
I got a recommendation real quick before we go.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about a debate, fantasy football-wise, between you and Nick Merckx?
I don't even know who that is, bro. And we don't drop names on the channel. Trying to get
finish him. Call terminate.
I don't even know who that is anyway. I don't necessarily need to bring anyone else on my show, bro. DeBolt, final thoughts. Everybody drop the X emoji. Everybody drop the X emoji in the chat. X emoji, hung up, boom, he's gone. DeBolt, final thoughts.
Not much. Just, with all the Justin Fields news, it's going to bring up a lot of questions. So I hope Poles does do him right. He gets him in a good spot. Atlanta first, Commander second, Seattle third. But I think the Patriots are in a real good spot there too.
Yeah,
Patriots try to get him and keep their third.
The Patriots just need to make the right moves around May if they bring May in. I don't mind it. I like Drake May. He's not my number one quarterback. I do like him though. In the right spot, he could be pretty good. He could be pretty damn good.
Let me ask you that. So, if the Patriots draft like say Drake May, and Legette's still there in the second round, and I believe they still have a high-end second-round pick, I think that's pretty stout getting Drake May and then Legette. You get your big wide receiver.
Yeah, I love it. I love Legette. All right, bro. Appreciate you. Later.
I think the Patriots are in a good spot.
Yeah. All right. Later, DeBolt. Appreciate you. All right, Travis, final thoughts.
I think we covered it. It'll just be interesting to see what these teams like the Vikings and the Broncos and all them end up doing and how much they're willing to give up, to move up that high too.
Yeah.
Every once in a while you do see someone, just what was it? Was it the Eagles with Wentz that gave up a ton to move up, and every once in a while you see these teams that just give up a boatload. So
yeah,
sometimes teams get tempted, so you never know. But
yes, sir.
That's all I got there.
All right, Travis, appreciate you, bro.
Later.
Bye. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Appreciate you all. It's been fun. A lot of news we covered. Good phone callers. Denny coming in, serenading, singing, being an absolute angel and songbird of his generation. I'll see you all later. Appreciate you. What are we hitting here? JJ Adams. We don't have anything for that. What do we have? What animations do we have for these guys? I don't know. Let's just hit the one we know and love so much. But the continuum of the gigawatt component structure of Jahmyr Gibbs' workload divide has a megawatt offload that if you compartmentalize the component conjunction timekeeper and you flux capacitor out the continuum component megabolt things just end up happening. And that's why Jahmyr Gibbs is a top 5 to 10 round.
Got him.
Guys, thanks. I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. Also, though, just real quickly, I'll be live tonight either on Rumble or the Dynasty channel, or hopefully both. So we'll go ahead and potentially be live on both. Make sure you're following. Look down in the description of the video and hit those links. Make sure you're subscribed to the Dynasty channel, which is youtube.com/dynastyfantasyfootball. This is the Fantasy Football Show, youtube.com/the Fantasy Football Show, and then Rumble's rumble.com/the Fantasy Football Show. See you all later. Appreciate you. I got $20, holla. Thanks for my super chatters. Appreciate Matt dropping the super earlier. Appreciate the gifted memberships by who is that gifted memberships? Gifted James Hunter dropping 5 gifted memberships, you monster. Thank you, James. Thank you, Matt. Thanks to my mods. See you on the Dynasty channel tonight. And maybe Rumble.